heard a lot of people have this discussion. You're not the first, and you probably won't be the last. And so, you know, I do understand that Black women and Black men have been through a lot, and and I think there's a lot that goes along with it from childhood. And, some, I don't know if she grew up with a father or not. Some have hidden traumas. I think we talked about that before, traumas that cause people to deal with certain things in a different way. And so I think some Black women may lash out at a lot of Black men because they may realize they didn't have a father.
Well, hold on
Or
a
they didn't
second. Let me interject. I think she said something like that about me. I'm going to share something with you, and this wasn't part of our plan, but I'm going to do it, and hopefully we can continue, which is why I'm going to shut us down now so that we can actually do that. But a couple of things I want to bring attention to. She said that she only sounded and acted like that because of me. And she said, she did that because it's not who she really is. She was just joking. And I don't know. Maybe I was a little offended. That I don't want that. I would appreciate it if she never was that disagreeable with me just because we're friends. But anyway, that's another thing. And no matter what I said, I got hardly any cooperation. Everything I said seemed to be at odds with me. And maybe maybe she wasn't. Maybe it was just the way I felt. So I'll just blame it on that. But with that being said, I think I'm going to try to end that. What I want to do with you now is share with you what I shared with her, because we never got to the reason we had the conversation. The conversation totally spent out of control. But what I'm going to do is share with you now what I shared with her, and then I'm going to come back with you and then get your response to what you hear from what I wanted to discuss with her. Would you be so kind to do that with me?
Sure.
So we're going to stop this, and when I come back, we'll talk about what I wanted to talk about with her. So we don't have to say any more about that conversation. In closing, as it relates to that conversation and her, I'm not talking about her as much as I'm talking about that conversation and what she said. She is a friend of mine. I love her dearly. I wouldn't take much for her. I would take something, though, a few billion. But I don't want to say anything bad about her as a person or Black women as a whole. But sometimes how they act is not something that seems to be appealing. And that's all I wanted to say. I love Black women, and I apologize if I offended anybody. But I'll be back with you, okay? And we can talk about what we're going to talk about, okay?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey?
Yeah. That was, wow, very heartfelt.
I know I don't hear you shed no tears.
No, I'm not shedding.
Oh, you just got a snotty nose. Okay.
But no, yeah, my nose is. Anyway, the bottom line is.
Wait, before you say that, I kind of listened to that again myself, although I experienced it and wrote it. I just heard something that I thought my other guests, and I know we're not supposed to be talking about that anymore, but if I could have that negative energy about so-called Black women, then why don't I have that same negative energy about white men? Or maybe I do, but we're not focusing on white men. But I can't let small incidences or even impactful incidences cause me to have a whole, complete, and total disdain or dislike for a group of people. I had some bad experiences, and then I'm just going to just discount everybody. It just doesn't make sense. And I think that's where she was going before it got out of hand. But my assistant principal who did me in that day, I don't have hate for men like him, Maybe I do.
I was going to say I have heard you mention something about a white man before.
Yeah, but listen, you do too. Well, listen, our culture. Listen, we do have white men are they have a certain stigma, but listen, some of my best friends are white. Um, but
Well,
no.
I think it's no, I think it's a certain type though. Like as I listen to that story, it's almost like I could hear the conversation that I heard earlier. So it's almost like you had that same experience today. Seriously.
Well, of
It was almost like a
course.
repeat of the
Yeah,
same
in
experience.
its
So
own way. But my point is, I I am wise enough now that I can separate my personal issues from a whole. Gosh, man, I can't put a whole pool of people in one little basket, and just dog everybody. Yes, that woman made me mad, and I didn't like it. And even my mother, I didn't hate my mother because I saw her side. You know, she was looking out for her son. I didn't see it then. But I see, I mean, I would have had an in school or out of school suspension on my record. That would have probably closed a lot of doors for me. It just didn't look good. And back then, you get suspended, that goes across the whole city. Everybody knows. Oh, that Bridges boy got suspended from school. So my
I
mother
think
didn't want me to go through that. And she probably
right.
thought, it's like I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't get in a lot of trouble. I mean, I never got suspended. I didn't get in any trouble at all with the police, nobody. But she probably thought maybe I was talking a little bit in class. But I wasn't. I was doing whatever I was doing. Me and I remember my buddy Greg was in that class with me, and there were a few people, but we were probably doing something in the morning. I don't even know what it was, but the conversation, spewed into to her going back with me for a few minutes and said that to me, and I was like, "You got me messed up, lady. I know I ain't, but at 11 years old or however old, but you just can't do that. Not here, right now, not today." So I'm sorry, I just took over the conversation, didn't I?
I think you still have some trauma there. I really
Maybe I
do.
do. So what? What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is unconsciously, you may not want to group a women like that, but I'll give you an example. My nephew said he would never date a black woman as
But
a
hold on, I
teenager.
ain't that's
I
not. See,
said,
that's your nephew. I am not
no, but it's a
saying that.
similar experience. It's a similar experience because of what he experienced as a child.
I know, but
He
let's don't
felt
talk.
like
Listen, hold on a second. I didn't say it. I don't feel it. Guess what? There's a whole bunch of black women that if they would just speak to me, I'd marry them tomorrow. I really would. There's some wonderful. I know some women. There's a couple in my church. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Yeah, I said it. There's a couple in my church that, ooh, if they just gave me the time of day. There's a few that I see all the time.
have you tried? Have you tried?
Listen, don't listen.
How do you
We're not gonna do that. We're not going to do
how do you
that.
know they won't give you the time
I
of day?
don't know, but I don't feel it, and I haven't experienced it. So how about that? But just for what it's worth, there are quite a few that I see. I've seen a couple in the supermarket earlier today. I sure wished I could get their numbers
But why didn't you ask?
because I don't have that kind of confidence.
Okay, so we need to work on that. That's simple.
Yeah, okay, then let's do that. Let's now give me more of your feedback of that excerpt.
So I feel like that day that experience has caused you to want to back away or stay away from women that won't let you have your voice.
You mean like my friend in that interview?
Right. That's why I say it's almost like a repeat.
Well,
Right.
see, I don't have to
Because
let someone not have my voice. Like you say, I just don't have to be around it.
right.
And if I choose not to
So
be around that, doesn't mean I don't want to be around black women.
no, I agree. I totally agree. So I'm not agreeing with your friend. I'm just agreeing with the fact that you don't want to be around that type of person. Like you said, whether it's black, white, because you had that experience. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And
I'm not
guess
saying there's
what?
anything
She,
wrong
you know
with
what? Now that I think about it, I don't know how this is coming full circle now. That
it. Hmm.
energy that I felt that morning sound just like my friend on the phone.
That's not,
It
yeah.
just sounds like
As I read
what?
it. As I read it, that's what I felt. I felt almost like,
And I could
yeah,
hear her voice now. Boy, if I say you, boy, just like my friend, she called me boy. You know,
oh,
I'm
does
like,
she?
if I say you ain't got no home training, you ain't got no home. I was like, what are you talking about, lady? You know, my mother. Do you know my mother would throw a shoe at me. You know, and
So,
that's
so,
that's what you call home training. My mother trained me with a shoe, and she had it like a boomerang. And my mother didn't take no mess. My mother would get on my case,
so
and
let
I
me
didn't
ask you,
ask a
how
question.
long how long has she been your friend?
Oh, my friend. Oh, God. 10, 12, 15 years maybe.
Okay, has she always responded to you like that?
That's what drew me to her. You know what? I joke with her and I tell people when I describe her, I call her my life coach. Let me tell you, it took me 5 years before I even liked her. As a matter of fact, when I first met her, I hated her. And part of me hates what she does, but I know she's a good person inside. Her attitude, I said to one of my other friends, what you do is not who you are. I know we're born, under the same astrological sign. So we're a lot alike in a lot of ways. But I know she's a sweetheart. I know that
Mm-hmm.
she may have had some traumas and I don't hold it against her. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't have to tolerate it and I won't. So that part of her, I just don't like it at all. But you know what I
So
do?
can you
I get
answer
a
the
lot.
question?
Pardon?
Can you answer the question, please?
I'm going to answer it. I get a lot from. I'm sorry. What's the question? I apologize. I hate that. What was the question?
The question was, over the 5 years that you have known her, has she
No,
always
15, 12, 15 years. Go ahead.
so has she always spoken to you that way?
Yes,
Okay.
always. And we're still friends. I love her. I get so much from her. It's like with her, I eat the meat and I take those bones. I don't even spit them out. I don't even put them in my mouth.
Have you ever let her know you didn't like her to speak to you that way?
Well, if you notice, she said when we're on the phone, we kind of go at it. We kind of go at it a little bit back and forth, but usually I'm like I am tonight, even if we're not on my platform. I usually try not to match that energy, but I don't let her like say if she starts saying something like she'll say something that she wants to use against me in certain kind of ways. Just I guess sometimes for her to be right. But I will stand up for myself. I don't just let her just open her mouth and just pin something on me just because she wants to be right. So if we ever get deep into it, it's because of me defending something that she wants me to wear, like this. Um, so yes, I've let her know that I thought she was uncooperative and aggressive and angry. Yeah, that's no secret.
But have you asked her not to speak to you like that? Like, not to disrespect you?
Have you ever asked Michael Jordan not to dunk if he get the open court?
Well, like you said, that's not who they are. You know,
I
she's a
don't care if it's
sweetheart.
not that. That's not who Michael Jordan is. But you ever ask him not to dunk when he's got a crowd of people in the audience and he get a fast break. You think he's gonna do a layup? No, he's not. He gonna try to tear the
I
goal
think,
down.
but I think I think when people know, I mean, for the most part, that's the average person. If they want to, I don't want to say remain a friend. Okay, so I'll give you an example. You know who I am, right? You know how I am, and that I'm a woman of God. So you don't talk to me like you talk to her because you, well, even, sometimes when you even do say a curse where you say, excuse my French, or you apologize for it because you know how I am, right? So when someone, if someone said to me, and I was their friend, well, I don't like how you did this, or the way you did this, or I don't like you using that tone with me, or whatever the case
Well,
may
didn't
be.
you hear me say? I said to her, "Listen, I don't want to have that conversation with you on this
Yeah,
platform."
I heard you say that.
Well, I
Yeah.
yeah, well, I was very clear, and I said, "Hey, listen, there's a certain level of privacy I have with you when we're on the phone that I just did not expect you to do that. And although you did it, you can keep talking because I wasn't going to slam the phone down and hang up with her. I would have continued the conversation, even if she had said it again. But I just didn't
Mm-hmm.
think it was appropriate for me to go into something that I shared with her in confidence that I think she knows that that's not something I would share with my audience. There's certain things that I just don't share. If I, get to know someone, or I'll share it with her. Even if I meet someone tomorrow, you as my friend, I say, you know what? I met this lady and she was a straight up Chinese woman. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not something I would be trying to tell everybody because I don't believe in. I know a lot of people, they post their boo pictures all booed up, on social media, and 30 minutes later, they're taking them down, singing that song, and that's not what I want to do. Just because I meet someone and I hang out
Right.
with them for a few weeks, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to just say, okay, this is someone I'm dating. Okay, if I get to know
Right.
someone and it doesn't work out, I can move on with my life and they can move on with theirs. Nothing
Right.
happened, no damage. Don't
Right.
ask, don't tell.
Right.
And I'm personal and private that way. If someone wants to know, I'm not going to deny anyone. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
went to the movies with someone or sat down and had coffee or hung out with someone, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be anybody's boyfriend.
Right. Right. But I guess that's not what I was saying, but it's okay.
Well, what
So,
were you saying?
no, I'm just saying that,
How do
I
we
guess
wrap this up? Because we can, I can close out our live stream and then we can go ahead and talk. I want to get your ultimate thoughts of what I share with you, my excerpt, and we don't have to talk about that other conversation anymore. I got what I needed from that. Bottom line, I just
okay.
thought she fit the stereotype that I am really just flat out not interested in.
Right. Nothing
But
wrong with
it's
that.
not black women. And I don't care who it is. You can be queen of the white people. But if you sound and act like that, it's probably going to not be attractive to me. And guess what?
Right. And a lot of men.
I know a whole lot of men that don't want to hear that.
Right.
Oh, and can I
Absolutely.
say something? Can I be nasty for a minute? Somebody will push up on that though.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. That's,
yeah, but
I know it because my sister is like that, and she's married actually to a white man, which is surprising. But
okay, that's enough right there. I know we'll leave it right there. I get your point. So yeah, that's just the way that is. So that's about what they get, and I wish it was different. I wish she would, as much as I love her, she won't listen to me when I tell her. I told her just recently I'm going to put her business in the street. Be nice. Be
mm,
nice. Why you gotta be sound like that?
well, why don't you pray for the trauma that is causing that to come
I'm
out?
praying for my own doggone trauma. What are you talking about? You just told
But
me
when
I
you
got my
pray,
own problem. You telling me I
but
still
when
got
you,
problem with white men. And so
but
I
when
gotta
you
now be
pray,
praying for somebody. I need my prayers for me.
no, when you pray for other people, it helps you as well.
Okay.
It's the law of sowing and reaping. So you pray for her and you pray for yourself
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and allow other people. I will pray for you and your trauma, and anybody else that may hear this may pray for you and your trauma as
Why you
well.
gotta die?
So,
Why I gotta have traumas? Why can't I just be okay? I'm telling a story in a memoir. That's one of many. And it's gotta still be trauma. How? Why can't I be delivered and just sharing it right now?
because it's obvious that you don't want to be around anyone that sounds like that teacher.
Well, what's wrong with
Even
that? Let me tell you something. Hold on a second. If you get bit by a dog that just gnawed half of your leg off, are you gonna want to be around dogs like that? I know
no,
it's
but
what
we have dominion. The word, we have
I didn't.
dominion
We
over
do have
any.
dominion, but when I see that dog coming towards me barking, guess what I'm gonna do?
You bark back. You don't run. You bark. I'm
No.
telling you, I barked back at a dog. I screamed at a dog, and it ran away from me. If
Well
they
then,
see you scared, they're gonna chase you.
okay.
And so
Well,
you
I didn't
can't
say I
have
don't
that
know they
same.
won't chase me because I'm not running. I'm just not gonna. They chase you if you run. If I even
Right.
know they're over there, I get away. And I don't run from them. I just avoid them. I let sleeping dogs lie. Speaking
But you
of which,
can't
no pun
avoid
intended.
everyone. But
I
you
didn't
can't
say I
avoid
avoid everyone.
black
If I know a
women.
sleeping dog is sleeping, I ain't gonna wake him up.
I'm talking about the black woman now that portrays yourself, your teacher from you were a young person, and apparently you haven't avoided them because you do have the friend that was like that. So I don't know. I
And
still
I'm still
felt
friends with her. Listen, I'm still friends with
right,
her.
right,
I'm not. I don't have to marry her. I don't have to go make her bed or mess my bed up with her.
right. I
So
got you.
and I don't. I just don't. And guess what? I have a lot of people that look like me that don't either. For some of the same reasons. Okay,
Okay.
I think we're gonna go. I'm
Okay.
gonna thank you for being there with me and for me, and you can go ahead on and pray for me. And no, I am not perfect, and maybe I do have some scars from some traumas, but I've come a long ways. And I
Oh,
told you, if you remember in my excerpt, I said I walked out of that room. It was many years later when I saw that lady in the nursing home. I went in
no.
there, and all I could do was think about how I felt. I wanted to go in there and chop her in the throat. No, you know I don't do.
No.
But I went in there and I just had compassion for her, and I let that
Yeah.
go. And I know she's
Yeah.
resting in the bosom of
Mm.
Lucifer and them. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Lord! You did not say that. You
No,
don't know how she turned her life around
I'm
because of
just listen.
it
Come on, let
didn't
me
even
have a little
remember.
fun. I'm just joking. I'm sure the lady is in heaven, and I hope her soul rests in peace. I don't hold a grudge against her. I really don't, but I still don't have to like that energy and that attitude.
No, I
I
agree,
told you
and it's
I
okay.
walked out of there and I said I was upset that I was mad at that. You know how I felt? I felt like, why are you mad at that little old lady who shrunk down? I told you she was a big woman. When I tell you she was big, she was big. And when I saw her,
Wait. She's bigger than you.
almost. But when you are 10, 11 years old, everybody's big. But she was a large, very large sized woman.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I when I walked out, it's like, why are you mad at that little old lady? Because she, it's like she was. When I tell you she was old and frail, that's how I
Mm.
felt. And then I asked God to forgive me, and I left
Oh.
that alone. And you notice I said in my excerpt, I said I almost forgot about this story, but I could
Mm.
not tell it because look how I've grown from that.
Mm.
Okay, well there you go. We're done. Listen, I don't want you to hang up. I'm just going to clear my line so I can get back to my guest. But I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. I don't think you talked as much as I thought you would, about what you read. But I'll leave it there. I appreciate you sharing this time with me, and I'll let you go unless you have something else to say about either of those topics.
I do have something to say about the the story about your teacher, and I do like the fact that when you went back, you did forgive her, you know, and
Obviously, I
that,
didn't forget, huh?
well, there's a difference, of course, right? You forgive, but you didn't forget. And that's okay because, again, you don't have to, we all have choices. We don't have to experience the things we don't want to experience in life.
Exactly. And I don't.
So,
I promise.
right.
But
If
when
you
I
don't
see
like,
those familiar spirits, I'd be like, okay.
mm, oh, I have a recommendation for you. I don't know. Can I say this here or do I?
I don't. Not now. Let's go. Are you finished with this? Because I'm going to get back to my audience in my live stream.
Okay. Go
So
ahead.
we're done?
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate it. We'll catch up later. Find somebody you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it. Show it, mean it. Let it be true. Can I get your word you'll do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll catch you when I catch you.
All right. Thank you.